While I rolled up to our family ranch, dust kicking off my tires, I spotted three strangers in neon vests drilling next to our fence line like they owned the place. My Aunt Clara sat on the porch, a shotgun resting across her lap, sipping tea like it was just another sunny afternoon. I thought we were being robbed by the boldest construction crew in Texas. One of the workers glanced my way and barked, "This ain't your business. We're with the HOA. I froze. HOA? The nearest one's a good 10 miles from our land. Clara muttered under her breath. They're trespassing, but they brought fancy vests and big egos, so I'm letting them dig their own grave. She wasn't kidding literally. I cut the engine and stepped out, the air thick with the smell of fresh dirt and gasoline. The men were knee-deep in a trench, one working a small auger while the others barked orders like it was a high-stakes mission. A white pickup with a magnetic sign reading Community Improvement Crew sat half-blocking the barn path. I walked over and asked, "Mind telling me what you're doing on our land?" The guy with the auger didn't even look up. "Community trenching. Beautification project. We'll be gone soon. I've been away for 6 days helping a buddy haul equipment upstate, and now strangers were tearing up our ranch like it was public property." I turned to Clara, still glued to her porch swing. "You call the sheriff?" She took a slow sip. "Yup. They're tied up with a DUI and a cow that wandered into a diner." "True story. Told him we'd handle it ranch style." I raised an eyebrow. "Ranch style?" She winked. "You'll see." I strolled toward the trench, while VYing politely but not smiling. "Hey, fellas, who exactly gave you permission to dig here?" The foreman, a red-faced guy with mirrored sunglasses and a clipboard he treated like a badge, finally faced me. "This property's under the new HOA resolution from last month. You'll get paperwork later." I squinted. "Funny, 'cause county zoning says this land's private agricultural, same as it's been since '73. He shrugged. "Zoning changes." Just then, my Uncle Ben ambled out of the barn, hands greasy, scowled deeper than the trench. "Thought they were county workers for about 5 minutes, he grumbled. "Then they asked where our water shutoff is. That's when I smelled a rat." I pulled out my phone and dialed the county zoning office. The woman on the line knew our ranch well and confirmed no zoning changes, no utility requests, and definitely no HOA approval to dig. She added our land was a conservation zone, making it even more off-limits. I turned to the crew. "You've got 30 seconds to stop digging and move your truck." The foreman laughed. "Or what? You gonna write a letter?" I didn't answer. Instead, I unhitched our hay trailer and backed it up, stacking bales 3 high behind their truck. Then I swung Ben's old tractor across the secondary path. They weren't going anywhere. Clara clapped from the porch like she was at a rodeo. The youngest worker, shovel in hand, looked spooked. Boss, they mean business." The foreman paced, muttering about legal easements and technicalities, clearly not expecting resistance. He tried again. "You can't trap us here. That's illegal." I grinned. "So's digging on private land without a permit. These bales, just a farming coincidence." I sat on the trailer hitch, snapping photos of the trench, the crew, even the foreman's precious clipboard. Then I called the sheriff again, this time using unauthorized excavation by non-county personnel. The dispatcher's tone sharpened, promising a deputy once the DUI was handled. She urged us to keep things CIVYL. I nodded. CIVYL, but sharp. The foreman switched tactics. "We're doing community maintenance, per the HOA charter. Take it up at the board meeting Friday." I stood, staring into his sunglasses. "We're not in your HOA. Never were. You've got 30 seconds to leave, or your project's a crime scene." He waved his crew to pack up, but their truck was boxed in tight. One worker tried climbing the bales, only to tumble into a patch of prickly thistle. Another muttered, "Told you we shouldn't have come this far." Our goat, Betsy, wandered over, licking their truck, then chewing a neon vest off the mirror. Nobody stopped her. I leaned against the barn, watching the chaos unfold like a bad comedy. Ben brought us lemonade, eyeing the bales. "Never thought I'd say this, but that hay's earning its keep." Clara chimed in. "Was SAVYing him for the livestock show. Guess they're law enforcement now." The crew tried lifting the bales, groaning at their weight, when a sheriff's deputy finally rolled up. He stepped out, surveyed the scene, and muttered, "This'll be fun to write up." The foreman launched into excuses, but the deputy cut him off. "Sir, you're going to want to stop talking before I charge you with first-degree stupidity." I had a grin. The deputy took photos, asked questions, and shook his head every time the foreman spoke. Ben handed him laminated copies of our zoning certificate and deed, courtesy of Clara's obsessive filing. The foreman waved his clipboard. "We're under HOA expansion protocol, section 7C. We don't need NDVY dual permission." The deputy stared like he'd claimed to be a time traveler. "That only applies in HOA boundaries." The foreman flipped through papers, suddenly unsure, claiming maps were in flux. I couldn't resist. "In flux? Sounds like what you say when you're caught trespassing and want to play dumb." Ben chuckled. Then the HOA president, Denise Larson, arrived in a black SUV with a vanity plate screaming "Lawful One." She strutted out, heels clicking, clutching a binder like it was her lifeline. "What's the holdup?" she demanded. The deputy explained, "Your crew's trenching private land outside your district." She flipped open her binder with a flourish. "Our covenant authorizes community trenching for water flow and erosion control. Section 7C. I tapped the page. "Same section your guy quoted. It's invalid here. We're not in your HOA." Her smile tightened. The lines were redrawn last vote. The deputy raised an eyebrow. "Was that vote filed with the county?" Her jaw clenched. "We're processing it." Clara snorted from the porch. "Lady, we live 2 miles from our nearest neighbor. Ain't nothing integrated but the coyotes." Denise ignored her, thrusting a map from her binder, a sloppy sketch with our land marked shared green zone. The deputy frowned. "This isn't legal. It's not even professional." Ben handed over our official topographic maps, showing our boundaries and conservation status. The deputy nodded. "This is what we use." Denise's binder looked more like a scrapbook of delusions. The deputy issued violation notices, demanding the crew stay put. Denise snapped, "If you block our vehicle, we'll sue." I smiled. "We're just farmers. He's got to go somewhere." Betsy climbed into their truck bed, sniffing tools. I called the zoning office again, reporting falsified HOA claims. The woman paused. "They filed papers saying your land's HOA controlled." "That's false. This is escalating." I told the deputy, who turned to Denise. "Falsifying zoning claims is a felony. You understand that." Her face fell. Clara raised her tea mug. "Smile, sweetheart. You're going VYRL." A news van screeched in, a cameraman jumping out, filming everything. A reporter in a bright blazer beeline for Ben, who explained the trespassing, the trench, and our hay blockade with deadpan humor. Didn't touch a thing. They parked wrong. Neighbors rolled up on ATVs, some with folding chairs like it was a tailgate. The reporter grilled Denise. "Did you falsify zoning claims?" Silence fell. The sheriff arrived, his presence quieting even Betsy. He re-VYEU'd the deputy's notes, eyeing Denise. "I hope this wasn't you from the road-widening mess." "But it is." Denise handed over edited emails claiming anticipated approval. The sheriff shook his head. "That's not permission. That's a guess." A deputy found a folder in her SUV with forged zoning forms, one bearing a fake officer's signature. The sheriff's voice stayed calm, but cut deep. "Denise, forging government documents isn't just trespassing. It's serious." She froze. The news crew caught it all, from Betsy chewing a vest to Denise's defeated slump. The sheriff declared the area a restricted zone, confiscating tools as EVY Denke. The cameraman whispered, "This is gold." As the sun dipped, the sheriff thanked us for staying cool and documenting everything. He smirked at the Bales. "Strangest standoff I've seen, but damn effective." Ben nodded. "Hay's not just for cows." By morning, the story exploded. News aired it with a headline about rogue, HOA antics, and rural grit. A clip of Denise floundering while Betsy munched her clipboard went viral. Social media lit up with laughs, outrage, and cheers for our old-school backbone. The zoning board called, apologizing. They'd flag-tampered HOA filings, promising legal action. The NVY Environmental Office confirmed the trench VY OLAT state erosion protections, hinting at investigations. Denise resigned by noon, her board in chaos, lawsuits looming. The foreman's firm cut ties, claiming ignorance. We moved the Bales, not for them, but because they'd done their job. Clara spray-painted one. Not HOA, not your land. The sheriff sent a thank you note, praising our restraint. Y'all showed the law still lives out here, he wrote. A neighbor dropped off a pie and drone photos of the standoff cinematic shots of Bales, trenches, and Denise's pacing. Frame these, he said. The Great Hay Bales standoff. The county suspended HOA expansion requests, uncovering more falsified filings. Other landowners shared stories of HOA overreach. Our fight sparked a reckoning. We bolted a sign to the fence. Private property, and no HOA. Trespassers meet the Bales. Life settled, but the ranch felt stronger, a reminder of why we guard our peace, our land, our way. What do you think? Was our hay blockade genius or overkill? Should HOAs have any power over rural land? Or are they just suburban bullies? Could you stand up to a crew like that? Or would you let it slide? Drop a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories where the underdog bites back.